At 63, Tom Cruise is still hanging from planes, running across rooftops, and smiling like nothing can touch him. But behind the perfect grin of Hollywood's greatest action hero lies a truth far darker than any movie he's ever made. After decades of silence, sources close to Cruise have begun revealing what really happened. The family he lost, the faith that consumes him, and the loneliness no camera ever shows. What you're about to hear might forever change the way you see Tom Cruise. Long before he became Hollywood's most fearless man, Tom Cruise was just a restless boy from Syracuse, New York, short, poor, and constantly on the move. His childhood was marked by instability, a strict Catholic upbringing, an abusive father, and endless relocations that left him craving control. Acting, he once said, was his escape, a way to be somebody when I felt like nobody. By the 1980s, that escape turned into destiny. Top Gun made him a global icon, the smile, the speed, the swagger. Overnight, he became the face of American heroism. Studios saw him as the man who could do no wrong. Audiences worshipped him as the symbol of perfection. Behind the success stood a different truth. Tom's hunger for purpose and power grew as fast as his fame. The boy who once prayed in silence would soon find a new faith, one that promised control over everything he feared. Scientology. And that's where the story really begins. It began quietly, not with a scandal, but with devotion. In the 1990s, Tom Cruise was at the peak of his power, box office king, Oscar nominee, Hollywood's golden boy. Yet behind that dazzling image was a man drawn deeper into something far more controlling, the Church of Scientology. He credited Scientology for saving his life, helping him overcome dyslexia and insecurity. But as Tom's belief deepened, so did the church's hold on him. It wasn't long before the two became inseparable, Tom Cruise the actor, and Tom Cruise, Scientology's most powerful ambassador. Then came Nicole Kidman. Together they were the picture of Hollywood perfection, beautiful, talented, unstoppable. Their love seemed untouchable, but inside their marriage, cracks were forming. Nicole was never fully comfortable with Scientology, and rumors began to swirl that the church viewed her as a suppressive influence. In 2001, their fairy tale marriage collapsed. Tom filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Hollywood was stunned. Friends said Nicole was blindsided. She had just discovered she was pregnant when the papers arrived. The pregnancy ended in miscarriage shortly after, and while Tom remained silent, those close to him whispered that Scientology had played a role in driving them apart. For the first time, the perfect Hollywood hero looked human, confused, cold, even haunted. But the world hadn't seen anything yet. Years later, Tom married Katie Holmes. At first, it looked like a second chance. The smile returned, the charm reignited. Who could forget that moment on Oprah when he jumped on the couch declaring his love? It was iconic, but also unsettling. The world laughed, but insiders saw something else, a man unraveling under the pressure of image and control. Behind the scenes, Katie was reportedly struggling. Friends said she felt watched, isolated, trapped inside Tom's world of belief and structure. The more she tried to protect their daughter, Suri, the tighter the circle became. And then, in 2012, came the moment that shocked Hollywood again. Katie filed for divorce in secret and vanished with Suri overnight. She had allegedly used disposable cell phones to contact her lawyers, planning the separation in total silence to avoid interference. When news broke, Tom was blindsided. The man who had survived everything, failure, criticism, age, had just lost the one role he valued most, fatherhood. Reports claimed that under church rules, Suri was considered a non-believer, meaning contact would be limited. In the years that followed, the world noticed something strange. Photos of Tom with his daughter stopped completely. Publicly, he never attacked Katie. He didn't fight back. Instead, he smiled, that same perfect practiced smile, and threw himself into work. Mission, impossible, edge of tomorrow, Top Gun, Maverick. He became the man who risked his life for every stunt, perhaps because deep down it was the only part of life he could still control. And while his career soared again, his private life grew painfully quiet. No close relationships, no visible family. Just the image of a man running, always running and on screen and in life. He had become exactly what Hollywood demanded. indestructible. But behind the perfection, the loneliness had never been louder. For years, Tom Cruise remained silent. No interviews about Katie, no words about Surrey, no comment on Scientology. He smiled, performed his stunts, and disappeared behind the curtain of mystery he had built. But time has a way of revealing what silence can't hide. In rare interviews, fragments of truth began to surface. Those close to him described a man who lives by discipline, routine, and absolute control. A man who needs to keep moving because stopping means facing everything he's lost. Tom isn't acting when he runs in those movies, one former crew member said. He's running from something real. Inside sources from the Church of Scientology claim Tom is treated like royalty, the chosen one, with privileges no one else receives. The church built custom facilities for his training, managed his relationships, and even influenced his friendships. For Tom, it wasn't manipulation, it was belief. Scientology helped me become who I am, he once said. I owe them everything. But those words carried a heavy price. Several former members have alleged that his devotion cost him more than the public could imagine, including the right to see his daughter freely. According to reports, Surrey has not been seen with her father in over a decade. When asked about it once, Tom simply smiled and said, "That's between me and my family." In his book Going Clear, journalist Lawrence Wright described how Tom's world became a fortress, protected, isolated, untouchable. Every detail of his life carefully curated, every appearance designed to maintain perfection. Yet, in private moments caught on set or between takes, crew members described him as strangely solitary, polite, kind, but distant. And then came the interviews that hinted at something deeper. When asked about his failures, his face softened, just for a second. "I've learned a lot," he said quietly. "Sometimes you just keep going because stopping isn't an option." That one sentence, simple, almost casual, revealed more than any headline could. Behind the unbreakable smile of Hollywood's eternal hero was a man still trying to convince himself he hadn't lost control. And maybe that's Tom Cruise's greatest illusion of all, that endless motion can keep the pain from catching up. Hollywood has always had a complicated relationship with Tom Cruise. To the world, he's the ultimate movie star, the man who never ages, never fails, never slows down. But to those who look closer, he's also one of the most polarizing figures the industry has ever produced. When Top Gun: Maverick hit theaters in 2022, audiences stood up and cheered. Critics called him the last real movie star, the savior of cinema after years of decline. He shook hands with fans, posed for pictures, and thanked his crew. On screen, he looked immortal. Off-screen, he looked alone. Public opinion remains divided. Some see Tom as a perfectionist genius, a man who sacrifices everything for his craft. Others see him as a prisoner of his own image, trapped in the very myth he created. "He's both hero and hostage," one producer said. "He built the cage, but it's beautiful, so he stays inside." As for Scientology, it remains the shadow he can't escape. Every new success reignites old debates. Is Tom Cruise the face of faith or its victim? Supporters admire his loyalty and discipline. Critics call it denial. But Tom never explains. He simply smiles, thanks his team, and goes back to work. Those who've worked with him describe him as fiercely professional, generous, and deeply intense. He remembers every name on set, one stunt coordinator shared, but when filming ends, he's gone, back to the jet, back to the next mission. And then there's his family, the quiet absence that lingers like a secret too heavy to speak. While Nicole Kidman has remarried and found peace and Katie Holmes has rebuilt her life with Surrey, Tom remains the lone figure, surrounded by success but untouched by intimacy. He rarely appears at award shows, almost never in public without a purpose. It's as if his entire existence has become a performance, flawless, rehearsed, unstoppable. Yet even those who question him can't look away. Because no matter what you think of Tom Cruise, his faith, his choices, his isolation, he represents something deeply American, the relentless pursuit of perfection, even when it costs you everything. Tom is a paradox, a veteran actor once said. He's the guy who can hang off a plane midair but still can't let go of control. And maybe that's why he fascinates us, because somewhere behind the explosions, the charm, and the impossible stunts We see ourselves, trying to outrun our fears, smiling while we fall. Today, Tom Cruise stands as one of the last untouchable legends in Hollywood, a man who outran time, gravity, and perhaps even himself. He's built a life of motion, of discipline, of endless takeoffs and landings. The world still watches in awe as he clings to planes, jumps off cliffs, and smiles for the camera, but few ever see the quiet moments when the cameras stop rolling. Behind every impossible stunt lies a question no headline can answer. What drives a man who already has everything to keep proving he's unbreakable? Is it ambition, or is it the fear of standing still long enough to feel what he's lost? Maybe that's the real secret behind Tom Cruise, the man who never stops running because stopping might mean facing himself. And you? What do you think? Has Tom Cruise mastered Hollywood, or has Hollywood mastered him? Share your thoughts below, because even heroes have stories they never tell.